Hey everyone, and welcome to the final instalment of our walkthrough of the maths papers from the 2022 Key Stage 2 SATS. This is paper 3 and it's another reasoning paper. Let's jump straight in. So there's your front page. I'm going to scroll past the blank page, scroll past the instructions and dive straight into question 1. Here is a drawing of a hexagonal prism. How many faces does the prism have? Be careful. There are some hidden faces. Well, we know there's going to be one face at the front and we know there's going to be another face at the back, the two hexagons. And now we need to try and think, how can we work out how many faces there are in the middle? We can see 3, but we also know that there's got to be a face for this side. There's got to be a face joining this side and there's got to be a face joining that side. So that's 4, 5, 6 faces in the middle, 1 at the front, 1 at the back. That's 6 plus 2. There are 8 faces on this hexagonal prism. Let's move on. Question 2. Here are 6 number cards. Use all 6, really important, cards to complete the 3 multiplications below. Let me show you why this is important, guys. We could jump into 24. We could look at our numbers at the top. And we could think, well, 24, we could do 3 times 8, or we could do 6 times 4. Now let's imagine for a second we did 6 times 4. All good, we've used 6 and we've used 4. Then we go to 28. How can we make 28? There's only one way. There aren't options here. The only way we can make 28 using these digits at the top is 7 multiplied by 4. And if we put 6 times 4 at the top, we'd get the question wrong because we have to use all 6 cards. So because we know 28 has to be 7 times 4, we can't use the 4 again at the top, which means this has to be 3 multiplied by 8. We've used the 8, we've used the 3, we've used the 4, we've used the 7. Then 30, we're hoping it's the last 2, and it is 5 multiplied by 6. You're going to need all of those for 1 mark, and you have to understand the question says use all 6 cards. Question 3. Olivia buys a banana, an apple, and a bag of nuts. There they are. And that's the price underneath as well. She pays with 3 50p coins. What is her change? Well, firstly, let's figure out how much her shopping cost in total. 30 for the banana, 45 for the apple, and 60 for the bag of nuts. Add up the ones, we get 5. Add up the 10. 6 plus 4 is 10, so that's nice and simple. 135 pence. Now, she pays with 3 50p coins. That 3 times 5 is 15, so 3 times 50 is 150 pence. Take away the shopping, which was 135 pence, leaves her with, if we just do some exchanging to make sure, 15 pence left over. The answer to this question is 15p. Let's see question 4. Draw 4 lines to match each fraction to its equivalent decimal. Let's take a look at the fractions here. Ooh, I'm going to zoom out for a second so we can fit this question in. There we go. 1/2, 3/10, 3/4, 3/100. Well, 1/2, we should all know these as a known fact at this point. 1/2 is the same as 0.5. So straight away, I'm going to match those up. 3/10, you just got to think, guys, of your ones, your tenths, and your hundredths in your place value, okay? In your place value table like that. 3/10 would go in here, so that's 0.3. We should know that tenths convert to decimals like that. Let's go to 3/4. That's one of our known facts again. You should know 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4. And there's a pattern here, 0.25, 0.5. We could put a 0 in there, couldn't we? 25, 50, and then 3/4 is 0.75. So 3/4, we can join up down here. Nearly went the wrong way. 3/4 joins to 0.75. You'd be using a ruler. And 300, going back to our table over here, 300 would slot in there. Decimal would stay where it is. And we put in some placeholders, 0.03. All of those will get you 2 marks. Let's scroll back down. I'm going to zoom back in. Some children vote for their favorite ice cream flavor. There's the ice cream flavors down the side here. And then there's a number of children down that side there. And at the bottom, we have a really important bit of information, the total number of children who are asked and who voted. So there are 402. How many children vote for strawberry? That's the question mark. Well, what we can do is add up vanilla and chocolate and mint. So let's do that. 87, going to do it over here. You'll do it in the box, remember. 87 plus 154 plus 38. 7 plus 4 plus 8. Well, let's do 7 plus 8 first is 15. Plus 4 is 19. 8 plus 5 plus 3. Well, 5 and 3 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16, plus the 1 is 17. 1 plus 1 is 2. So 279 people, or children rather, had voted so far. If there were 402 altogether, that means that we can find the difference, and that will be how many voted for strawberry. So we take off 279. Look at this, guys. Classic SATS question, making us do some double exchange here. We're going to go to the hundreds and take 10 tens. We're going to take a 10 to get 10 ones, and we're going to go from there. 12 take 9 is 3. 9 take 7 is 2. 3 take away 1. 3 take away 2 is 1. 123 people voted for strawberry. Quite popular. Let's look at question 6. This chart shows the range of temperatures each day during 1 week, from Monday to Friday. First thing I'm going to do is down the bottom here, I'm going to just fill in these gaps because I bet it comes in handy later. -1, -3, -5. Always a good hint to do that. If you've got gaps on your scale, try and fill them in. Let's take a look at the question. What was the lowest temperature? So let's take a look here. Where did we get to the lowest temperature down this left-hand side? Well, we're going to put it exactly here. And don't be put off by the fact 2 different days had the lowest temperature. It's still the lowest temperature. Would you look at that? The only one I didn't fill in. This here between -6 and -8 is going to be -7. So the lowest temperature is negative or -7 degrees C. Let's take a look at the next question. What was the difference between the highest and lowest temperatures on Wednesday? Well, let's go to Wednesday and let's find out. Wednesday, the highest temperature was here, and this is where it comes in handy, writing down 3. So I'm going to write down 3 here as the highest. Wednesday's here for the lowest. We're going to go down. Again, look, it came in handy, -5. So we want the difference between -5 and 3. It's not 2. Don't you think it's 2 because the difference between 5 and 3 is 2? This is -5. So if we imagine 0 somewhere in the middle, this jump is worth 5, this jump is worth 3, the difference is 8 degrees C. Be careful. Question 7. One Saturday afternoon, a total of 234,869 people attended 3 rugby matches. This is a classic SATS question. We're going to give 3 totals. You need to find the third one that's missing. 80,978 attended match 1. So that's match 1 there. 72,000, let's see if I can fit it in this box, 319 attended match 2. How many attended match 3? Well, to answer this question, we're going to find the total number of people that attended the first 2. So our first step is to do column addition here of these 2 values. And this is going to test our arithmetic. 8 plus 9 is 17. 7 plus 1 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. 2 plus 1 is 3. 8 plus 7 is 15. We have 153,297. In total, there were 234,869 people. So we subtract what we've figured out here for the first 2 matches, 153,297. And that difference should be how many attended match 3. So 9 take 7 is 2. 6 take 9, we have to exchange. 16 take 9 is 7. 7 take 2 is 5. 4 take 3 is 1. 3 take 5, we have to exchange. 13 take 5 is 8. 1 take 1 is nothing. So the answer is 81,572 people must have attended match 3. Let's move on. Question 8. 7,546. I've seen this question so much. We're going to round this number to the nearest 1,000, 100, and 10. So the number was 7,546. Rounding to the nearest 1,000, we're going to take a look at the hundreds column, which is a 5. So we're going to round up. It's either going to be 7,000 or 8,000. And because we're rounding up, we know it's going to be 8,000. To the nearest 100, it's either going to be 7,500 or 7,600. We look at the tens column for this one. It's a 4, so we're going to round down to 7,500. And finally, to the nearest 10, it's going to be 7,540 or 7,550. Look at the ones, it's a 6, so we're going to round it up. The answer is 7,550. All of those get you 2 marks. Be very careful when you're working through them. Question 9. Complete the calculation. 1,000 multiplied by 416 is the same as 10 multiplied by what? Let's just work this side out first. 416 multiplied by 1,000, we're going to put in our 3 placeholders. So 10 times something has to equal this. Well, it's a simple case of the inverse. So we're going to divide by 10 and get 41,600. 41,600 times 10 is the same as the left-hand side. Just write down your working, guys. You've got that space there. It's there to do jottings. That's how we're going to answer this question accurately. Question 10. Adam buys 4 pens and a ruler, and he pays £4.75 altogether. Jack buys 2 pens and pays £1.98 altogether. How much does a ruler cost? Well, there's a few ways we can do this. We need to firstly work out how much 1 pen costs, and we can't do that using what Adam bought because we've got the ruler that we don't know anything about yet. We don't know the price, but we can work out a pen from Jack. We could half £1.98. Half of £1.98, going to divide it by 2. I'm just making sure using the bus stop. You might be able to do this in your head. It's 99 pence. We're always going to write our answers down. And it says at the bottom, show your method. So I would always put in this box 198, going to do the bus up, and we're going to get 99 pence. So it's 99 pence per pen. Adam had 4 pens. You could have just doubled £1.98 to get 4 pens. That would have given you Adam's 4 pens in total. It doesn't matter. Either way, we've got 4 pens here. So we're going to go back to our box and do 4, or 99 rather, multiplied by 4. Again, you could have a mental strategy for this. You could multiply 100 by 4 and take off 4. I'm just going to write it down like this to make sure I get it right. And we're going to get £3.96. So we know that these 4 pens here cost £3.96. So how much did the ruler cost, which is what the question is asking us? Well, if it was £4.75 altogether, I'm going to take off £3.96. I'm going to copy this down here so that we're in the right box. £4.75, subtract £3.96, which were the pens, and what's left over will be the cost of the ruler. Let's exchange here to make sure. 15 take 6 is 9. We've got 6 take 9 we can't do, so we exchange again. 16 take away 9 is 7. The cost of a ruler was 79 pence. Lots of steps, one at a time, show you working out. Question 11. Ali chooses a whole number. When she multiplies her number by 4, the answer is less than 100. When she multiplies her number by 5, the answer is greater than 100. What write a number Ali could have started with? Well, we need to make sure our answer is around 100, right? So we're going to multiply something by 4, and it needs to be around 100. So we can use trial and improvement here. Funnily enough, I know that 25 times 4 is exactly 100. So could that be an answer? When she multiplies her number by 4, which I've done here, the answer is less than 100. No, this is exactly 100. So let's knock the number down by 1. 24 times 4, that's going to get us to 96. When she multiplies a number by 4, it's less than 100. 24 works. When she multiplies a number by 5, the answer is greater than 100. Well, 24 times 5 is 120. Is that greater than 100? Yes, it is. If I'd have just rushed in and put 25 because I saw 100, I'd get that question wrong. Be sure to read the question carefully, use trial and improvement. Didn't take as long. The answer could be 24. Just out of interest, it could be 23, it could be 22, it could even be 21. However, as soon as we get to 20, 20 times 5 is exactly 100, which means it's not greater than. So possible answers here are 21, 22, 23, or 24. Any of those would be correct. Question 12. William says the rule for his diagram. Find the difference between the number in the circles. Double this to make the number in the square. Let's check it works. Find the difference here is 15. Double it gets us 30. Cool. It's true. Let's see the next one. Use this same rule to write the missing numbers below. We'll find the difference between the numbers in the circle. Well, I know my numbers to 100, so this is going to be 68. And then double it for the square. So 68 times 2. I'm always making sure by jotting down my working. I could do this in my head. I'm always going to write it down and make sure. 2 6 to 12 plus the 1 is 3. The answer there is 136. Fantastic. Let's go down to this one. Aha, of course. We're going to have to use the inverse now. So to find the difference, we go backwards, which means we divide by 2. So the difference between these numbers has to be 200. It can't be 200 less than 110. That goes into negative numbers. So I'm going to add 200 on. This can be 310 here. If you had time in the test, you could use the rule and check that it makes sense. We're going to trust our answer here. Next question. Question 13, write the missing fraction to make this addition correct. First thing, guys, straight away, look, the denominators are different. We can't have that. So let's keep that as 6. I'm going to change 2/3 into 6 to answer this correctly. I multiplied the denominator by 2. So I'm going to multiply the numerator by 2 as well to get 4/6 plus something equals 5/6. This becomes a really easy question now. The answer is just 1/6. All about the denominators having to match before we do anything with them. Jack hires a hall for a party. Question 14. This formula is used to work out the total cost. Total cost equals a £15 booking fee plus £12.50 per hour. What is the total cost of hiring the hall from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m? Well, first thing, 6 until 11, that's 5 hours. So the hourly rate is £12.50. So we need to do £12.50 multiplied by 5. Always writing my working out down. 5 zeros are 0, 5 fives are 25. Put your decimal place in the right place. 5 twos are 10, plus the 12, plus the 2 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 1 here is 6. So it's £62.50 plus the £15 booking fee. So let's make sure we add that in. That's a flat rate everyone pays straight away. Booking fee is £15. Add them together, £77.50. And that is our answer. Superb. Let's move on. Question 15. Stefan stands in the center of this square. Not actual size. So Stefan's standing in the middle. Stefan is facing towards F. So he's facing this way. He turns anti-clockwise to face D. Well, let's do that. Anti-clockwise. Clock goes that way. So anti-clockwise is going to go this way to face D. So he turns this amount here, this angle. Let's look at the question. It's going to be something to do with an angle. What angle does Stefan turn through? Well, he has turned through, and hopefully we can see this here, 1/4 of a full turn, otherwise known as a right angle. And we all know that a right angle is equal to 90 degrees. So angle that Stefan has turned through is 90 degrees. Remember, anti-clockwise. Very easy trick there to go the wrong way. The next part of the question, Stefan is now facing D. We know that. He turns 3 right angles clockwise. What letter is he looking at now? Okay, so he's at D. Let me just get rid of my writing here. That's not getting rid of anything. That's a highlighter. So he's facing D now. So let's draw that way. He turns, let's just double check the question. 3 right angles clockwise. Okay, so the clock goes that way. So that is 1 right angle. That is 2 right angles. And that is 3 right angles. So now he's facing B. Let's just check what the question said. Write the letter he now faces. He is now facing B. Only reason this was a bit trickier than normal is because the right angles are on a diagonal. Can you see that? We're used to seeing right angles like this, aren't we? But it's still a right angle, even if it's on a diagonal, just like that. Well done on that question. Let's move on to 16. Part of this 10 by 10 grid is shaded. Tick the fractions that represent the shaded part of the grid. Well, 10 by 10 grid means that it is out of 100. And each column, I know, is 10 in a 10 by 10 grid. So 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, that's 40 out of 100. So we need to tick any fractions that are the same as 40 out of 100. And did you notice something? There's an S on the end of fraction. We're going to have to do more than one tick. Well, obviously it's the bottom one, 40 out of 100. We could simplify this, divide both the numerator and the denominator by 10 to get 4 out of 10. And you might have noticed above, each column is a tenth. So we have 4 tenths there. So we can tick this one. But here's the one that a lot of people might have missed. 2/5. You see that? If we use our equivalent fraction knowledge to divide numerator and denominator by 2, we get 2/5. 3 fractions to tick, but it did reward you with 2 marks if you did all 3. Let's look at question 17. Kim makes a cuboid model using straws. So there we have our cuboid model. We have the height, the length, and the width. Let's look at the information at the bottom. She uses straws that are 7.5 centimeters long for the height, 11 centimeters long for the length, 8.5 centimeters long for the width. What is the total length of all the straws in her model? Wow, seems like quite a daunting question, but let's just take a look. How many of the 7.5s will we need? basically how many straws do we need for the height? Well, we need 1, 2, 3, 4. So 7.5 times 4. Let's see what the next one is before we do any maths. Use the straws that are 11 centimeters long for the length. Well, here's the length. 1, 2, 3 across the top there. 4. Aha. So we need 11 length straws. We need 11 width. Sorry, 11 height, 11 width. We need 4 straws for the height. We need 4 straws for the length. How many do we need for the width? Well, let's take a look. It's going to be 8.5 times something. There's 1 for the width, 2 for the width, 3. Aha, 4. So we need 4 of each type. We can do a shortcut here. So let's go to our box to work this out. 7.5 plus 11 plus 8.5 is the total length of 1 length, 1 width, and 1 height. So let's do that. 0, 1, exchange over, put your decimal in. 7 plus 1 is 8, plus 8 is 16, plus the 1 at the bottom is 17, and then 1 and 1 is 2. So the total length of a width, a length, and a height, the total length is 27 centimeters. And for each of them, we needed 4 lots. So we can do 27 multiplied by 4, and this is going to give us our answer. 7 4s are 28, 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 2 is 10. Now what you could have done, guys, you could have done 7.5 times 4 here and got 30. You could have done 11 times 4 and got 44. And you could have done 8.5 times 4 and got 34. And when you add those up, you'll notice it comes to the same answer, 108. So we had a bit of a shortcut here when we noticed that, but you still could have got to the right answer if you showed all of your working out. Bit of a question that can take up some of your time here. Let's move on to the next one. Question 8, sale reduced by 30%, £15 top. A full price of a t-shirt is £15. It's reduced by 30%. What is the reduced price? So 2 steps here. Firstly, we have to figure out what 30% is of £15. Well, 10% is £1.50. So 30% is going to be £4.50. Once we've got 30% over here, we can do 15.00 for pounds. Take away £4.50. You might be able to do this mentally in your head, but just always write your working out down. Let's do some exchanging here to make sure we can do it properly. That's a 4, so that's going to be 0. Put the decimal in and drop the 1 down. The new price of the shirt, once we take off 30% or £4.50, is £10.50. Guys, don't write 10.5. This is money. We need the 10p column and the 1p column. So the answer is £10.50. 19. Jack says, oh, these questions are brilliant. When you square a prime number, the answer only has 2 factors. Explain why Jack is not correct. Let's think about this for a minute. When you square a prime number, the answer only has 2 factors. What's the definition of a prime number? So a prime number has exactly, do we know? 2 factors. So that's the first thing. A prime number has exactly 2 factors. So if we square a prime number, if you square a prime number, is it only going to have 2 factors now? No. It will gain a factor. So, for example, let's say a prime number of 7. Okay, 7 multiplied by 7 is 49. So 7 had 2 factors, 1 times 7, and it now has another factor of itself, which is 49. So there are going to be at least 3 factors if you square a prime number. So a prime number has exactly 2 factors. If you square a prime number, it will gain a factor, which is the new product. Okay, tricky one to explain there, but by definition, any prime number already has 2 factors, one in itself, let's say 11. If we square this, it's got 1 and 11 still, plus the answer, which is 121. It's going to have at least 3 factors. He is not correct. We're always going to gain a factor by squaring a prime. Let's move on. Question 20. My goodness, this question had so many steps. I couldn't believe it. This table shows how many people finished the New York Marathon in each of the first 4 decades that it was held. A decade is every 10 years, but it's not really important to this question. New York Marathon, there's a decade, number of people who finished. What is the mean number of people who finished the marathon per decade? Then round your answer to the nearest 100. My goodness. So what we have to do here to find the mean, firstly, is we're going to put all of the answers, or the piece of data rather, and add them all up. So the first one's 24,863. Then we have 170,932. I'm going to do it all at once. You don't have to do this. Then we're going to do 282,420. And then we've got 350,824. I'm doing this because to find the mean, we have to find the total and then divide it by the number of pieces of data. So 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 4 is 9. 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, plus 2 is 13. 8 plus 9, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 9 and the 1, because that's 10. That's easy. So 9 and 1 is 10, plus 8 is 18, plus 4 is 22, plus 8 is 30, so we exchange over the 3. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 3 is 9. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 8 is 17, plus 5 is 23. Not 23, nearly. Oh, nearly. That's why it's really important. I'm going to check it again. 2 and 8 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 7 is 22. Always check. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So the total number of people who finished, 829,039. We're going to take this, 829,039, and we're going to find the mean. How many numbers did we add up at the top? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we divide by 4. 4's into 8 is 2. 4's into 2 is 0. Exchange over the 2. 4's into 29 is 7 with 1 left over. 4's into 10 is 2 with 2 left over. My goodness. 4's into 23 is 5 with 3 left over. 4's into 39, oh my gosh, is 9 with 3 left over. And we could keep going if we wanted to, but we don't have to. We don't have to. We could go into decimals, but we don't have to because we're going to round this anyway. 207,259. If you wrote that as your answer, it wouldn't be right. It would not be correct. Round your answer to the nearest 100. So this is our hundreds column. We're going to look at the tens and round it. The 5 rounds up. So the answer is 207,000. And in the hundreds, we're going to go up to the next 100, which is 300 people. 207,300 people. 3-mark question. Loads of addition. Find the mean. Round it to the nearest 100. Goodness me. So much to do for that question. And here's the final question. 21. These two rectangles are identical. The length of each rectangle is 3 times the width. So the length, I'm going to just draw it out really crudely. I'm going to draw it over here actually. Really crudely here. The length is 3x, if that's x down there. Okay, so it's not to scale. What are the coordinates of point P? Whew. Okay, let's take a look at this then. So we have 0 up to 1. So that's 1 in difference. And we're only given here -2 and 8. So there's only one place we can really start here because this is not to scale. We can't pick up our ruler and start measuring. But what we do know is that this here, -2, is the x value on the x coordinate, right? So if this is 0 and if this is -2, that means that the width of the rectangle is 2. Now, that is the key to unlocking the answer to this question. If the width here is 2, the length is 3 times the width. So 3 times 2 is 6. And we can label all of the rectangles now. That's 2, that's 6. That means that this is 2, this is 2, that's 6, and this is 6. So to find the coordinates for point P, we're going to start on the x-axis and we're going to go across. Well, we know that starts at 0 and we know the length here is 6. So it's 6 across. And we're going to think, how far up are we? Well, we're given this value. That is 0 across, that's 1 up. So we're already at 1 here on the y-axis. And we're going to go 2, 3. The coordinate of point P is 6, 3. And that was all made possible by noticing that this width here had to be 2 to go from 0 to -2 on the x-axis. What a tricky question to finish. But finish it we did. Look. End of test. Now guys, if you didn't catch our arithmetic for paper 1 or our reasoning paper 2 before this, go back and take a look. But that is that for the maths papers from the 2022 Key Stage 2 SATS. We hope you found this useful. We'll see you next time.